larger than life. He'll give you strife. He's Todd. He's tall, he's mean, he's labeling machine. He's Todd. Rides a motorbike, he'll tell you what it's like. He's Todd. Don't know what he'll say, he'll scare the kids away. He's Todd. He's Todd.
Hello there. Happy Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. Still here in kind of the makeshift studio until the construction starts. So anyway, it is what it is. I want to thank Kate for the backdrop back there. I'm using a different one this week. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I think we have a good show today. I hope everything's well out there with everyone. Thank you very much for your patronage. We are going to talk a little bit about printer matchmaking. And I'm sure this will go better than my previous marriages. Those were not good matches, but I'm more educated on this than I am about relationships, I guess. So anyway, we're going to go and we're going to talk about the right printer to use for whatever you're doing out there. But one of the things I did over the weekend is I actually went up to where did I go? It's up near Barstow. Oh no, Banning, the vacation mecca of Southern California. Banning. If you've never heard of Banning, don't worry about it. All right. But anyway, I found a great deal on a smoker, a pull behind smoker, and one of my passions that I have is actually barbecue. And so we're going to fire that up again. And one of the things that I did back in, well, you'll see when Kate throws it on the screen, but one of the things I did back in 2015 is I did a road show. And I'd hook this thing in the back of my truck, and I go to our distribution partners. And I tell you what, it was a hell of a counter day. Nobody puts on a counter day like Big T. All right. And so with Kate's help, and I think with marketing, we're going to modernize this old thing. And we will advertise the on, wherever we can on LinkedIn and YouTube and everywhere else. So that way, anyone out there, any contractors and users, come on out. Have some great barbecue. Take a look at some printers, some demos. We'll probably have show specials, stuff like that. So anyway, there you go. That's really what I have to share today. Thank you very much, Kate. So on to the subject at hand, using the right printer for what you're doing out in the field. Back to my lineage as a contractor, I use Sharpies. I use tape. I use the little sticker books. If you will, which they still sell a lot of those. And I have no idea why these contractors use these damn little sticker books, with A through Z and 0 through 9. It's just such a waste of money, and it's a real big waste of labor. All right. So anyway, I used all that stuff, and I don't recommend it anymore. The other thing that I used, all right, in fact, this is one that I used probably, good Lord, 20 plus years ago. All right. It had to be. So 10 years of brother, and then brother's competition for 9, so 19. Yeah, 25 years ago is this little jewel right here. All right. I do not recommend this thing. Now, in a pinch, does this work better than, let's say, a Sharpie or one of those little bookies? Sure, absolutely it does. And it works very well in a pinch. And this is the brother, I think it's a PTD 210 or whatever the hell they called it at the time. And it uses, in fact, I think look at that. I still have a tape in there. It uses our M tape, which is paper tape. And the problem with paper tape is that it's going to scratch, it's going to scuff, it's going to fade. All right. So, in a pinch, yeah, but please don't go out. I see actually a lot of these things out in the field, and I'm like, why? Why? The insanity of that. So I do not recommend that one. I'm going to go through the modern lineup of what we're offering out there. And I'm going to offer my take, my 2 cents, my suggestions. And then if you have any questions at the end of this, reach out and I'll further explain, um, my reasonings behind this, or go more in depth on the actual printer itself. All right. So I'm going to start off going low to high here. All right. And speaking of high, I'm off my oxy. For those out there that don't know, I had another back surgery. What, I don't know, Kate, 3-4 weeks ago, something like that, to fix the previous back surgery from 7 weeks ago. And they load you up on this oxy, and I'm telling you, oh God, it makes me feel good. I love this stuff. But there's there's stuff I don't like about it either. So I'm off that stuff now, for the most part. So coming at you sober today, which is which it happens all the time. Right? It happens all the time. So anyway, back to the subject at hand. This is our PTE 110. This little jewel right here. I'm also going to give you pricing based upon. I'm going to call it street pricing. All right. I'm going to go a little high on the pricing, MSRP, if you will. So Jonathan. So hey, listen, look who's on the show today. That's my nephew Jonathan Morse. The Air Force was still using those tiny label makers while I was in there. So Jonathan was actually in communications, right, Jonathan, and using those PTD 210. So it sounds like I need to make a call out to the Air Force. Jonathan, hook an uncle up. All right. So anyway, let's go to the BTE 110. One of the things we did with this, all right, and these little guys have been out for a long time, and it really is kind of an upgrade to that little booger right there. But what we did is we gave it a QWERTY keyboard, and that's very important, all right, except for those who are out there still using flip phones, and you know what I mean. And there are still some of those old farts out there that are still using flip phones with the ABC keyboard. So one of the things we did is we gave it a QWERTY keyboard, because obviously everything has QWERTY keyboards these days, whether it's your tablet, your smart device, my computer keyboard. So anyway, it's very limited in what it can do. All right. You can do things like, and I'm going to grab my old man specs, and I lost my flip phone earlier, but things like it'll do a cable wrap. All right. It'll do a cable flag. It'll do a faceplate. And if I actually got it to do a patch panel, but again, it's just a Johnny on the spot tool bag printer is all that it is. If you need something in a pinch, then pick this printer up. All right. You can pick it up for under $59 through distribution. Still has a 2-year warranty. So, if it goes down on you, we'll certainly give you another one, but it's limited to 1/2-inch tape only. So you really only have 2 options of tape in here. You have your 1/4-inch and you have your 1/2-inch. And I'm not a big fan of, even though it's got a cable wrap button right here, or right there, somewhere there. You know what? A 1/2-inch cable wrap, I'm not a fan of. A flag, on the other hand, a 1/2-inch flag, that's fine. But anyway, for under $60, uses the TZE tape, which is very important. And we talk about this all the time as far as the lamination and how, tough of a tape it is. But again, you're limited to a 1/2-inch. It also takes batteries too. So again, you're gonna spend a little bit more on the batteries. Now this one, I don't think I have. Yeah, I got some batteries in there right now. All right. So you're gonna spend money on batteries. We don't have a rechargeable option. You can put some of those reachable A's in here. But again, it's okay for Johnny on the spot. I know when I was a contractor and I'd send my guys out of town, we were based in Texas, and I'd send the guys out of town. Typically what we would do, right, is we would pre-print on 8.5 by 11, but then we'd run by to our local big box office store and we pick up one of these things, very inexpensive, to do the face plates, and the patch panels. And again, this printer right here and this printer right here, if you're doing a patch panel, you do it the old fashioned way. And those old fogies that are watching today know exactly what I'm talking about as far as A01-1 space, 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 space. A01, -2 space, 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 space. All right. So you can still do a patch panel with this and this. But it just takes a lot of time. And you know what? Time is money, right? So again, if you're looking to go inexpensive, all right. If you're a tightwad, pick this thing up. All right. So anyway, PTE 110. Now stepping up, the PTE 300. This is actually a very popular printer right here. So the PTE 300, what this will do is it gives you lots more options. You're going from 1/2-inch tape on this guy to 3/4-inch tape on this. And you can also use our heat shrink in here. Very popular machine for heat shrink. And it takes a different heat setting for the heat shrink, and you have to have a stronger motor. So anyway, the PTE 300, you can also use heat shrink. Now, the other benefit of this is that this machine goes both ways. And what I mean by that is that you can use AA batteries, or you can use the included lithium-ion battery, which I found to give 15 to 18 hours of use out in the field. All right. And then up to 3/4-inch tape. But you also have other options on here. I'm going to try and do this without my glasses, and I'm probably pointing to the wrong button. But things like your cable flag, obviously, we talked about earlier. But now you get into patch panels, which is one of these damn buttons right here. All right. And the cool thing about the patch panels is that inside of the PTE 300, and it comes in a hard case kit like this, is that you get a patch panel ruler. All right. Now, how many times, let's go back to this guy. How many times have you done the A01-1 space, 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 A01-2 space, 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 and you're off in your spacing? And again, you old farts out there know exactly what I'm talking about. And you know what? You did it 4 times, but you needed 5 spaces in there. Okay. So what you've done is you've wasted that time. You realize that you're 1 space off. You got to throw that first one off, and you got to redo the first 6-pack. All right. So the beautiful thing, starting with the PTE 300, is that you get a patch panel ruler. And you can take that patch panel ruler up to any manufacturer's patch panel, including some of the modular patch panels up there, and it gives you within 1/100th of an inch on your spacing. So when you hit the patch panel button on this machine and the machines that I'm going to talk about next, is that it's going to ask you what that port spacing is. It's also going to ask how that patch panel is laid out. Is it a 4-port modular? Is it a 6-pack? Or is it going to be one of the new 8-packs, the high density? Or if you're really old school and you got 24 straight across, again, you just put your port spacing. And oh my God, can you imagine, which I've done many, many, many times, is something like this, going back to the A01 space, 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 up to A01-24. And you print that whole damn thing off, and you're off. So yeah, again, with the patch panel ruler, it makes life so much easier. Along with the patch panel ruler, there's a button on here, the hotkeys for a faceplate. How many times, all right, by a show of hands out there, how many times have you printed off a faceplate label and it's too damn long? Yeah, we've all done it. Well, at least all the old guys out there have done it. And what has to happen in a faceplate's kind of wonky because you got that little desi strip, all right, in a lot of the faceplates, all right. You got the desi strip and you pop it out and then you lose it on the carpet. Obviously, that's a gimme, but it's too long. So you got 2 options. You can either bend that tape, right, to fit back in that slot, but guess what? That desi strip is now going to be bowed, right? You know exactly what I'm talking about out there, folks. All right, it's going to be bowed. It looks like hell, right? So typically what we'll do, what I used to do, what's currently being done is that somebody will take their snips out and they'll cut a little off the left and a little off the right. Well, guess what? That's labor to do that, number one. Number two is that they're going to come through at the end of the night and they're going to vacuum up all of the tape that you cut on the floor. And to me, that's cash in the trash. You guys are wasting consumables. So the patch panel ruler is very crucial, to not only your patch panels, but your face plates. This one's going to be a little tougher. All right. It's got the rubber versus this. We've done 3-foot drop tests. Typically what happens in a drop test is that the back flies off, the tape flies out, your lithium ion battery flies out, but it saves the job at hand. When you reassemble this printer after you've dropped it, you put the battery back in, the tape back in, the cover back on, you just continue where you left off. So that's a good thing. Again, comes in a hard case kit, lithium ion battery. You get a tape in there as well. And you can typically purchase these things for under $169. All right, which is a hell of a deal if you think about it versus my competition. Go price them. I can't mention my competition, but go price the ones that are 3/4-inch tape, right? And there's one in particular that is very popular. One of my competitors, and they sell it for under $100. All right, and it doesn't come in a hard case kit. You don't get the lithium-ion battery, but whoa, it's under $100. It's $99. All right, but wait till you buy a tape. Wait till you buy a tape. Holy mackerel, right? You're going to regret that. You're going to regret that you spent $99 and you're going to spend about half of that, $49, on a cassette. So it doesn't make any dollars or cents, all right? So if you're looking for something like this, which is great for integrators, security contractors, again, for under $169 versus that $99 one, it's a hell of a deal, right? And again, 2-year warranty on that, exchange warranty, which means that if it stops performing for you, if something happens to the machine, we'll just give you another one. We want to keep these things working out there. All right. So again, that's the PTE 300. All right. So let's go ahead and do this. Let me get these out of the way here because I'm done with you. I'm done with you. So the PTE 500. Dun, dun, dun. A couple of upgrades to the PTE 300. Now you move up to 1-inch tape, and I'm a big fan of 1-inch cable wraps. And part of the reason is I use these. Right. I've got CSS and I've got all these other things, but I just can't see very well. So a 1-inch cable wrap to me is pretty standard. I see the 1-inch out there quite a bit. And now you go up to 1-inch on this. And again, the cavity back, all right, if you open it up, there's your slot for either your 6 AA's or your lithium ion battery. And then right here is where your tape goes. All right. So a couple more features on this. It has the same features I talked about in the 300 as far as the patch panel feature and utilizing that patch panel ruler to get it just right on there to fit in the configuration of the patch panel. All right. It has that faceplate feature on there as well, but now you have the ability to load a database in there. Wow. Right. Man, I wish I had these things. Again, I go back to A01 dash, blah, 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 all right. And a lot of times when people are using these printers, they're using pre-printed self-laminating labels. And I'm not a big fan of those. And I'll tell you why just in a minute here. So this guy, you can take an Excel spreadsheet and you can load an Excel spreadsheet in there. I believe it's 7 meg of information. So we figure it's between 7 to 8,000 labels inside here. And now you don't have to do anything manual, right? You're going to pull that information from the database. And then what you'll do is you use the hotkeys right here to take that information you pull from the database and configure your patch panels, your face plates, your your flags. I almost said it. Your flags. All right. Or or any general label, again, you're going to pull that information from the database. All right. The one drawback to this that I'm just not a big fan of, all right, is it prints one label at a time. All right. The PTE 300 is going to print one label at a time. The PTE 110, one label at a time. I still, all right, after my 54th birthday, just last February, I still have no patience. And so peeling labels, specifically if you got, big paws like this, right, is not fun. All right. And again, I'm giving you the negative on this, and it's based upon, what I hear, what I see, and what I do. So one of the negatives about that, and in the machines that I talked about, is printing the one label at a time, which you got to peel the back off. And then what happens to the backs of those labels? All right, they go in your pocket. They end up falling on the ground in between the rack. It's gonna be inevitable that you're gonna get a call from the IT director or the facility guy saying, you left their closet just a crappy mess. All right. And so it's also time consuming, peeling each label on there. All right. You also get your dirty fingers onto the adhesive. All right. Does it mean it's not going to stick? No, no. We've never had that problem. But again, the less you can touch the adhesive, the better it's going to be. All right. So that is the PTE 500. 1 inch up to 1 inch. The database feature on that is pretty cool. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Now, how do you load the database in there? You got to use a PC, and if you can see, there's a USB, micro USB right there. All right, so you're going to tether that to a PC, and then using our PTouch editor software, you're going to dump that database into the machine. Now you can also save things. One of the things that I didn't mention, it does have a memory feature. So let's just hypothetically say that there's a particular patch panel out there that you're using quite a bit. All right. You can measure the patch panel and you can put those or the patch panel spacing into the memory of this and save it as that manufacturer's part number. All right, so you can get up to 99 individual saves in there. So let's say that, again, we talked about the patch panels and the port spacing, and maybe you're working with 3 or 4 different manufacturers. Or let's say you're working with a manufacturer's high density patch panel, and you've done the port spacing. Again, just put that into the memory, and then you can recall that template, and you can utilize the database, or you can do it manually. And we'll talk about that manual process here in a minute, but you can do that manually on that particular template. Going back to the A01 dash, blah, 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 all right. One of the cool things about the PTE 300, I don't even know if it's on this 110. I don't think it does. No, it does not. So one of the cool things is that if you're not in a position to utilize the database, let's just say it's a small or medium job, right? What you want to do is serialize. And when I mean serialize, and again, starting at the PTE 300, and this one is that you put in the first identifier. Let's say that you got a 72 port patch panel configuration, and your first identifier is going to be A01-01. All right. You put that in there, you hit the serialize button, you tell the machine how many ports you're doing. In this case, it's 72. It builds a job for you, just like that. Let's say you're doing cable wraps, all right, and it's only cable wraps on the backside, same thing. But the beautiful thing about this is that from the serialization standpoint, after putting in A01-01, telling the machine 72, it's already got the port spacing in there. So you're using our 3/8-inch tape TCE 221, spitting off the patch panels. Now it's time to go back behind and do the cable wrap. So you've already got that information for the 72 ports on there. In this case right here, you don't have to redo the job for the cable wraps on the backside. You just hit the cable wrap button. You tell the machine what you're wrapping. Could be Cat 5, could be Cat 6, could be Cat 6A, could be coax, or you can pick the OD of the cable. It automatically takes that information from the patch panel and transforms that into your cable wrap, right? So again, it's a time saver. All right. But that's a serialization starting with the PTE 300 and now on the 500. So you got the ability to do it manual, just Johnny on the spot, onesie twosies. You can do a serialization on there, which builds a whole job for you on the machine, or you can pull from the database. All right. Price wise, with a hard case kit, something like that, you're at 229 or less, right? Which is a great price. Oh my gosh. What a fantastic price for that. Again, Google or search my competition. Good luck finding anything out there in that price range that's going to have as many features as the PTE 500. I was going to start this show basically by saying, a funny haha. In fact, you know what? Here, I don't know if you can hear that, but that's a funny haha. But basically, I was going to start the show saying, you know what? I'm not going to waste your time. This is the machine to buy. Forget everything else. Have a good day. See you in 2 weeks. All right. And I kind of meant it. All right. So this PTE 550, man, what a workhorse this is. Gosh, I wish I had when I used to work for a living out in the field as a contractor. All right. Um, let's see, I've got about 5 minutes here. This should be a piece of cake. So anyway, we talked about the database on this thing, right? We have partnerships on the PTE 550W, right? The partnerships, I hope I got everyone. I didn't practice this before, but AEM, Fluke, Softing, Trend Networks, NetAlly, Sunbird DSIM. And the beautiful thing about that is that you got to preload their machines too when you're certifying, right? And so take that same database and put the database inside the machine. How do you get the database inside the machine? Well, you can certainly use the USB right here, but what a pain in the butt, right? Why not just use phone? Right. This is the first printer out there to have Wi-Fi. When I talk about Wi-Fi, it's got nothing to do with the internet. It's a peer-to-peer connectivity between your phone, either Android or iOS, and this PTE 550W. So if you can send yourself that database, all right, via email, you can dump that inside the machine with either our iLink and Label app or our new Pro Label Tool app. And I got some future shows on the Pro Label Tool. I'll do a show with AEM and Trend and Softing, showing you basically how to use that PLT. But let's just hypothetically say I'm sitting here and I do a database. And my tech is up in San Francisco, Phoenix. It doesn't really matter. I send him an email with that database. He then converts that database and he dumps it inside the machine. Thousands of layers, right, for that job. So that is a beautiful thing, right? You can be anywhere in the world and have the ability to dump that database inside the machine as well. Now, you can do it as just a regular database using our two apps, or again, if you're going to be testing and certifying out there, why not use the same database that you're going to preload those testing and certifier units? It's just ingenious, if you will, and it saves so much time. It's kind of a one and done, because I remember back in the day, we'd have to do a database, to dump inside of our certifier. We'd have to do another database that we're using to print the 8.5 by 11 self-laminating labels, but no more. All right. Self-laminating. I got 3 minutes. Not a big fan of self-laminating. We do have it available right now. It's somewhere down here. It comes in a cassette form. The worst thing I see about self-laminating labels is that unless the tech takes enough time to put that in the upright position, it's absolutely worthless, because if you don't put it to where it can be seen from up top, if it's a little to the left or a little to the right, you can't see that identifier. And I don't know how, I've seen countless of techs reach in there and they turn that cable just a little bit to see it, and you could end up taking a node down, taking a PC down, taking a server down. You could take anything down, right? We use a different cable wrap, if you will, and it repeats that identifier, and it doesn't matter how you start or how you end the wrap on there. You can see that from any angle. The other thing is I did a cost analysis on self-laminating labels versus our cable wrap. Now, keep in mind is that we are laminated. All the tape is laminated. It's the same damn stuff that you're using in the self-laminating, but it's much easier and less expensive to use. there's a huge cost difference between the self-laminating, either 8.5 by 11 or 4-inch versus our traditional cable wrap. And again, you're going to utilize that database of thousands of identifiers to do your face plates, to do your cable wraps, to do your patch panels, to do your flags. Hell, it'll even do old school 110s out there. All right. So again, this is the PTE 550W. There's that lithium ion battery I was talking about. Again, you get between 15 to 18 hours of use out in the field. If you run dry, or if that closet isn't hot yet, go down to the convenience store and buy 6 AA's. So this guy, and it's all of its glory, again, hard case kit, lithium ion battery, you get a tape, you get the free apps in there. What am I missing? Oh, and the patch panel ruler, right? So you can buy this thing for under $279, right? Again, great price, under $300. Troll my competition, not troll them. Look at them. Look at my competition. You're not going to find a printer out there that's going to do this, right? That's going to do everything for you. So instead of having a small printer to do your face plates and let's say your patch panels, and then carrying out in a separate folder all your self-laminating labels that you're going to have to search through too, by the way, right? This also has a smart search of the database. So let's say you move from the floor up to the 3rd floor, right? Search everything on the 3rd floor and then fire off as soon as everything on the 3rd floor. So again, smart search. You don't have to search through all those self-laminated labels. So again, this is our flagship model. If you have any more questions on these things, please reach out and let me know. Everything I just showed you had the 2-year warranty. I'm not really going to go into our desktops. However, if you have a desktop and a need for a desktop, we have a couple available. The most popular is our PTE 800 with a removable. It's the only desktop out there that has a removable full-size QWERTY keyboard. And this will go up to 1.5 inches. It'll do everything that was aforementioned on the PTE 550. It's just bigger. All right. It's on steroids. And so as you can see, we call it the lunchbox. Lifts up like that, and all your tapes can be stored. We also have a smaller version down here of this, which is our PTE 900 series. So again, if you're looking for a desktop, please reach out. I can give you more information. From a cost perspective, we're typically run about half the cost of our competition, and it utilizes the same tapes as well. They also print faster. And everything I talked about has a tube. So very quick run through, trying to match. Again, very small job. All right, small to medium, small, medium, large job on the 500, small, medium, large job, as well as XX and XXX, utilizing the PTE 550 or one of our desktops. So with that being said, it's 10:31-ish, 10:32-ish. If you have any questions whatsoever, Kate's going to show my contact information out there. As far as the upcoming shows, safety labeling, I'm going to have Mr. Dan Cobb on the show with me talking about. He's our safety labeling guru. Dan, I hope you heard that. I actually gave you a compliment. It's been recorded. All right, so I gave you a compliment. September 25th, we're going to go through a little more of the safety labels, such as arc flash, some of the OSHA requirements, and general safety labeling. September 27th, we had such a blast in Orlando at Bixie. Kate got on, and it was just had a huge crowd out there cheering us on. We're going to do it again, and I've already got some folks that have committed to stopping by. All right. I know Tom Jella was stopping by, AAM's stopping by. There's 7 or 8 or 9 of them right now. So anyway, that's always fun. And what I want to do is I want to do a giveaway. So Kate, again, it's being recorded right now, and Kate is doing up some special Bixie BS with Todd shirts. And so they wouldn't let me have the shirt cannon out there, but hopefully I can sit there and just throw some shirts out to the crowd. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be real fun. All right. And then October 6th, we're going to have a Bixie recap roundtable. Also, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be starting to invite more guests on board. So look for that. I really want this show to be industry centric. There's only so much you can talk about labels, right? And so the guest episodes were popular, real popular. We had a bunch of folks on here representing their line and how labeling basically goes hand in hand with their line. So look for that as well. So I think the QR code is next. Right, Kate? There we go. So got my own YouTube channel. I think we're up to 230,000, something like that. I don't know. But anyway, uh, Kate still says we're sitting at 230. Wait. Yeah. All right. Anyway, it doesn't matter, right? So anyway, if you aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel, there's a whole lot of videos and information on there. There's some funny episodes. Scan this damn thing right now with your phone, all right? And please sign up. I don't know what the hell I get for doing that, but anyway, scan that and sign up. As far as our contact information, I'm here in Escondido, California. All right, so there's my information up there. There is my personal phone number up there if you have any comments, questions, or you know what? If you need some bad advice, I'm telling you right now. All right, call me. Call me on that. But I can certainly give you some information on the printers. I cover everything basically from the Mississippi River west. All right, Jamie Brookover, who still is refusing to come back on the show after the last comments I made. He's somewhere and crying his eyes out right now in Virginia Beach. But anyway, Jamie says he refuses to come on the show. He's been banned. All right. So anyway, that's all there is to it. The contract negotiations did well. So Mr. Dan Cobb, he did the all right, the BS with Todd tune at the beginning. I want to thank Dan Cobb. It's been several years and it's time to upgrade that song. But anyway, Dan Cobb is in Wisconsin. Bruce Page is doing a show today. I don't even know where he's somewhere, but he's doing a show. And but anyway, Bruce is in Massachusetts. Yeah, I think I said that right. Rob Dawkins out of North Carolina. Hi, Rob. Shout out to Mr. Rob. He's a big fan of the show. He promotes the hell out of the show. So shout out to Rob. Appreciate you. Mr. Craig Robinson is out of Sarasota, Florida. And really, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you very much. And we're 6 minutes over time. Thank you. Thank you very much for stopping by. It's always a pleasure. It's always fun to get in front of you folks out there and talk a little labeling, talk a little BS, if you will. Hope you have a great rest of your week. I really hope to see you in 2 weeks to talk about some safety labeling. And again, questions, comments, concerns, or otherwise, you can reach out to any of the team members. Thank you, Kate, in the background, for making all this happen. And that's it. I'm out. Ciao. Bye. Arrivederci. Sayonara. Hasta luego.